Good afternoon. Emily Finkel with the Bay Area Council. We represent 250 of the largest employers in the Bay Area. And just want to say that early childhood education, improving access, improving quality is a top priority for the Bay Area business community. So we really want to thank you for having this discussion today and look forward to working with you in the future. Thanks.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Lisa Wilkin. I'm the Executive Director of the Child Development Consortium of Los Angeles. We run 8 child care centers in LA County, 7 of which are considered Title V centers. 4 of our centers are nationally accredited by NAEYC. To respond to Assemblymember Chavez's question, I don't know very many other Title V programs who are NAEYC accredited. We are hanging in by our fingernails with some additional support from other sources besides our state funding. But we, with the impending mandatory minimum wage increases, sadly that does impact the salaries that we pay our teachers, and we really would like to encourage you to increase the standard reimbursement rate and also to consider putting the educational Title V programs, general child care and state preschool, back into Prop 98 in addition to the half-day state preschool.
Most of your teachers receive minimum wage?
No, so right now I have teachers who make $9.25 an hour. Okay, so right now that's $1.25 over minimum, but in July that's going to be 25 cents over minimum.
All right.
So it's in relation to minimum wage. It's very hard to keep people if their wages keep getting closer and closer to minimum wage. And like Mr. Marcus and my teachers haven't had a COLA since 2007.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. I want to thank you for your patience in listening to all of the testimony today, and in fact, loved your questions earlier. My name is Moira Kenny, and I am the Executive Director of the First Five Association of California, the membership organization for the 58 county commissions, much of whose work you heard about earlier today. The association was one of the first statewide associations to take a support position on SB 837, and we're pleased to be here today to share that support with all of you. Over the last 15 years, our county commissions have invested as much as 40% of their annual revenues from the tobacco tax proposals in creating the kind of innovative quality ECE pilot programs that you heard about today. We have invested in programs that include workforce development, coaching, English language learner supports, developmental screening, as well as capital investments. We also lead the statewide policy investments in Race to the Top and have made that possible in all of the counties across the state that are participating. Most importantly, we now have evidence that our pilot investments have worked. From your districts as well as from the other districts represented here today, we have evidence that when we increase the quality, increase the resources, increase the funding for these programs, children do better the first day of kindergarten, and those improvements last well after kindergarten. Finally, we want to work with all of you to bring these efforts to scale. As was mentioned earlier today from the speaker from San Diego, First Five investments have declined over 20% in program investments over the last 3 years. Those declines will continue, and they're real. But children need those supports and the quality programs statewide, and we look forward to working with all of you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. Damon Carson, Neighborhood House Association, San Diego, California. On a daily basis, we serve over 8,000 children through a variety of funding streams. We have Early Head Start and Head Start, general child care, and a part-day preschool program. At the beginning of the hearing this morning, someone pointed out that they would like to hear ideas about how we can see a return on our investment as we move forward down this path. And I know you have a lot of decisions to make, but I wanted to leave you with a couple of thoughts in terms of how we prioritize and actually see a return on our investment in early ed. The first thing would be to really think of ways to mandate that our providers use an evidence-based curriculum in our settings. The second piece would be really to nurture the role of parents as the primary educators of their children and extend those opportunities to the extended family so there can be a more holistic approach supporting the learning at home that is going on in the classroom. The third thing would be to really have a system in place where early assessments and screenings are completed very early in the school year to ensure that children are physically, socially, and emotionally ready to learn. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Camille Mabin, and I'm the Executive Director of First Five California. Thank you so much for staying and listening to everyone and for the very thoughtful hearing you had today. Just a couple of things from First Five California, a couple of our current efforts that we have in place around improving quality and working with our county partners that you heard about. You just heard from Moira, but one is our CARES Plus program, which is a professional development program for teachers statewide in about 36 counties, and also our Child Signature program that focuses on improving quality in early learning classrooms that right now is in 37 classrooms, or 37 counties across the state. But I wanted to address something Assemblywoman Weber brought up this morning is tomorrow we are launching a statewide campaign geared at public, we call it a public health campaign around talking, reading, and singing to your children beginning at birth, talking about all the brain development. So as of not tomorrow but Thursday, you'll see commercials, radio, digital, leading people back to our parent website where there's more information and activities for parents. So we hope that over the next few months you will really all people across the state will get the message that how important it is for early brain development to read, talk, and sing to your children. So, and I still think it's important to kiss them and hug them all the time. So, having said that, we're committed to working with you. It really is time to raise all boats, having been part of the California Department of Education and worked in their child development programs. It really is time to reinvest from infant toddlers all the way through. Folks have been hanging on by their fingernails, and now it's time to give them the boost up so all children in California can succeed. Thanks.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, members. Avo Makdessian with First Five in Santa Clara County. Thank you again today for the hearing. Just wanted to voice our concerns in Santa Clara County about the number of children that we have that are 4 years old right now. We have 10,000 of them in our county alone that qualify for state preschool and for Head Start, but unfortunately there's no space for them. And so these children, 10,000 of them, will be entering school next year behind their classmates. When they get to third grade, they're going to be behind their classmates, and their prospects of graduating is significantly going to diminish. All the First Fives throughout the state, as well as business support and local government support, is not going to be able to provide the universal high-quality preschool that these children need. And just a quick point on the sense of urgency. Since this hearing began, there's nearly 200 children born in this state. Almost a child every single minute is born in this state. And the window of opportunity for all of us to positively influence the life trajectory of these children has started, and that window is beginning to close. So anything we can do through reinvestment as well as the investment in SB 837 is a great thing that we can all do. It's going to take a big lift, and it's going to take strong people like yourselves. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. My name is Nirmala Dillman. I'm from San Mateo County. And I'm coordinator of the local Child Care Planning Council there and work at the San Mateo County Office of Ed. I wanted to call your attention to work that I had the pleasure to work on, which is the creation of the California Comprehensive Early Learning Plan last year. I think there was not a great deal of interest in working on a plan from the administration, and so it's been kind of under a bushel, but it does exist actually, and had input from 3,000 stakeholders across the state, as well as 80 research studies on California children and on best practices. And I think everything that everyone has advocated for you today can be found here. It's not a book about specific programs and how to increase or change them, but what principles California would like our legislature to use to guide us. And from my own county, as we try to braid and blend funding and keep programs afloat, I support what many have said to you. I just wanted to bring one urgent matter to your attention,
Quickly.
small...
Quickly.
Okay. There is a proposed $1.5 million cut to the federal quality funding. We're talking about restoration, which we certainly need, but this is not the time to cut the quality funding and programs that we have because we really need quality as well as access. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Good afternoon. Tim Fitzharris with the Early Care and Education Consortium. It's a national organization with high-quality centers in every state and 990 here in California. So first, we'd like to say that we might be able to bring some perspective from other states that might help the committee. Secondly, with regard to the programs we have here, we would not repeat the testimony, but we'd say rebuild, restore, the plan for a long term as you're proposing to do, and deal with the reimbursement rates. Most of our programs, as Michelle and others have already said, are basically either closing because they can't do this, or they're not taking your children, your subsidized children, and we're going to the private pay type children. So that doesn't help you. So we want to be sure that you get those rates up. You already got that on your agenda, and we appreciate that. Secondly, someone mentioned the nutrition part. We need to rebuild that as well. And finally, and this is, if Mr. Chavez was here, I would want him to hear this. Our new executive director of ECEC is the former head of the Department of Defense child care program. So that high quality standard, if you need her as a resource, she could come and help you, tell you what they do well, how they do it, how they built back in that Department of Defense, and we offer that resource for your committee.
Thank you.
Good morning. Graham Dobson, representing the California Child Care Coordinators Association. We're a professional association of early care and education county and city coordinators from around the state. We echo many of the suggestions to strengthen the proposal to expand educational opportunities to young children. Full-day, full-year services that meet the needs of families, building upon the existing mixed delivery early care and education system, and increased access to early education and educational opportunities for the workforce. But we also would like to mention that we believe that a diverse group of early care and education stakeholders should be involved in the decision-making regarding TK expansion at the local level. Every county has a local child care planning council, which is mandated to identify local priorities and unmet needs for early care and education in every county. We'd like to offer the opportunity to contribute our data and an understanding of the supply and demand for both subsidized and unsubsidized care in each county, and we look forward to working with the legislators in the coming months. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Sydney Fisher Larson. I am the president of the California Community College Early Childhood Educators, and I'm a member of the California Advisory Council on Early Learning and Care. Just want to remind you, regardless of what happens with SB 837, that you have 106 community colleges in the state that have early childhood education programs. We're training the workforce. We want to work with you. We just need you to know that due to college budget cuts, state-funded child care budget cuts, our lab schools are at risk. We want to be able to train the workforce. We want to be able to train early infant toddler providers, but many of our lab schools have had to close down infant toddler programs. So we want to help. We want to ensure that California has the diverse workforce that it needs for its children. So please help us help you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Mary Jane McGuire Fong. I'm a professor of early childhood education at American River College, one of Sacramento's community colleges. I want to underscore a fact that my father, who was an elementary school principal, shared with me. He said, "Your child's education is only as good as the teacher who stands in front of that child in the classroom." And so as we look at the complexity of the issue and the delight of the issue that stands before us in thinking about how to protect every child's right to learn and how to protect every family's right to make sure that their child has a right to a quality public education, I think we need to seriously look at having a very robust discussion in California about what do we know about how children learn And also, what do we know about how to support their learning? And we're very lucky to have Dr. Ross Thompson across the Yolo Causeway in Davis. He sits on the National Research Council, National Science Foundation's committee looking at higher education for children birth to 8 right now. So we have an incredible resource in all the research that he brought to us today. And I think we have an opportunity to look seriously and recreate how we think about the professional development workforce system. And we heard in the hearings there's some confusion. What's a child development permit? What's a child development associate? Our language gets very confusing. But those of us preparing the early childhood workforce see children as a whole, see them connected to families, and see them existing as a unique stage of education, birth to 8. So we look forward to that conversation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Deborah Kong, Early Edge California. I wanted to thank you for your thoughtful consideration of investing in high-quality early learning opportunities for our children birth to age 5. And as an advocate, but also the working mother of a little boy who just turned 3 last week, I really appreciate your thinking about a vision for our children birth to 5. So we look forward to working with you, and we're committed to making this the year of early learning. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Christina Aristudo, Executive Director of First 5 Solano. The First 5 Solano Children and Families Commission has taken a position of support on SB 837. I think they'd also agree with all of my colleagues' comments today about the need to restore funding for the whole birth to 5 system. And I'm very excited. I think I'm going to say the one thing you haven't heard yet. I was amazed that we sat here all day and nobody talked about the whole glut of working low-income families that make $10 over what a subsidy costs, and how SB 837 is actually, this is your lucky day. You get to implement quality early learning for every 4-year-old in California, which will bring up school for a lot of low-income kids, which automatically grows the 0 to 4 system and makes room for a lot of 3-year-olds who didn't get anything before. Plus, you're going to be a hero to all those working families. You're actually handing them a benefit that's as valuable as the Earned Income Tax Credit. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, chairs and staff. Kim Johnson, California Child Care Resource and Referral Network. I will be very brief. I just want to highlight our short-term plan, which is very representative of a lot of the priorities you heard today in terms of investment that in the best interest of serving children and families, and a reminder that the Child Care Resource and Referral agencies are the folks that are walking through families and helping them understand what quality looks like in terms of making the best choice of their child care needs for their children. So thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, and thank you very much for this hearing. My name is Gina Alian. I'm the Executive Director of the Professional Association for Childhood Education, and also I'm on the board for the Early Childhood Education Consortium. And we represent all the private providers. We represent over 10,000 early care and education providers in the state of the private providers. And I just wanted to, I think a mixed delivery system is essential, and I know everybody spoke about it a lot, but we do have a paper of our thoughts about it, so I just wanted to leave it with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Tasha Guzman from the Hayward chapter of Parent Voices, and I'm a single mom with 2 children. Please fund the waiting list so that every child can have the early care and education they deserve. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon now, right? My name's Jennifer Greppy, and I am the organizer for Parent Voices Southern Alameda County. And I work with families every day who call me on the phone because they are frustrated and sad and upset that they called every program that was out there that could help them to pay for childcare, and none of them had any space available. And so they've been sitting on waiting lists, some of them months, some of them years, and their children are waiting on a list, but also waiting to learn and to grow and to be nurtured and to develop that social emotional development that is so important for children when they enter kindergarten. These parents are desperate to have the services that they need, and they are having to come up with a variety of very clever ways to care for their children while they're waiting. And they're missing out on really important learning opportunities. And just finally, I want to say that children don't stop needing this support when they turn 5. These children and these families need this support through age 13. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Helda Moya, and I'm coming from Alameda with Parent Voices. I live in Alameda County. I have 3 daughters. 2 of them are in college now. My youngest one is here, Natalie. She's 10 years old. And I just wanted to say that I became a single mother about 4 years ago due to domestic violence. And as you probably guessed, I did have to come and ask for help to the state to be able to provide for my children. I have to say also that this situation for me and my children has been very hard. But I just wanted to say that my daughter and I, she's embarrassed to speak now, but we decided we wanted to come here in support of many, many children across California. We're here to ask if you can support the children to create a better future for them. If you think about it, these children that are going to be born, they're going to be able to get a better education. We want to thank you for giving us the opportunity to be here. And please fully fund the waiting list so that children can access quality child care and they won't be left behind. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Ann Whitehead. I am the executive director of the Child Day Schools. I guess I'm the first person to talk from that perspective that I have 5 schools. I have a school in Antioch and a school in Lafayette, in Moraga, in San Ramon, and in Pleasanton. But I'm here on behalf of my Antioch school. We have struggled to keep that school together and keep it open for the last 2 years. I have a for-profit organization except for Antioch. It is a school that I have kept alive because I believe the families in Antioch deserve as much quality care as we provide for our families in the other parts of the communities. And last year, my school made $6,000. I paid the director around $40,000. So you see, my director gets more than that school earns. But the fact is that we are for-profit. I have a master's degree in educational psychology. I specialize in developmentally appropriate programs. And as much as I believe in the upcoming idea for pre-K, I don't want you to forget that quality free pre-K is going on every day in our centers. And these children are thriving. And I would hope that we would be able to participate in your FORCE program. We have teachers who are knowledgeable, who have a great deal of enthusiasm and passion for this age group. We have classrooms and environments that were made for these children.
Thank you. Please try to wrap up.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Mary Lou Johnson, and I'm also a private provider. I have 4 schools and serve 5 schools in San Mateo County. 1 preschool of about 150 children, and the others are school-age programs. And what I'm here today is to ask you to consider, I do support and believe in preschool for all 4-year-olds, and I am supporting the mixed delivery system. And in my community, I'm in a working class community, working poor community, and it does take a huge effort to support families who are not able to cope or survive. And in the past several years, with the major cuts, families are still working and still trying to do their best. And so what I do is support them in that process by really giving them reduced rates. I don't receive federal nor state funds, but it is at the expense of budget on our end, which ends up ultimately affecting the quality of the program from a point of insurances and the bigger picture, things that really implement a quality program. So I'm asking you to continue to support funding. And the other part that is really passionate and important to me is the social emotional of children. And what happens when children go into programs that are not designed for them has a big concern for me. There are, in the public school system, because I do have school-age programs, they are not designed for young children. And as TK gets implemented, which I support for young children, is that the environments get designed specifically for children and not to be compromised. It is at the safety and health component to have 4-year-olds with 5 and 5th graders and 6th graders. So as you develop this program, I do ask you to please look at this very, very carefully. Thank you.
Thank you. That concludes the hearing. Thank you very much to all for coming out. We obviously have a lot of work to do. This meeting is adjourned.